You're watching the Frye Show on Rider Nation Station, brought to you by Minster Bank, Plus One Professionals, Albert Sporting Goods, American Legion Post 323, Fowler's TV, Eagles Lodge 767, Speckman Automotive, Auglaze Audiology, Rabel's Auto Service, American Manufacturing Solutions, VFW 9289, Auglaze Equipment Rental, Guarneri's Pizzeria, Vogel's Bake Shop, Schaff Auto Sales, Miller Funeral Homes, and Spees Chiropractic and Wellness Center.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome once again to this week's edition of the Frye Show. I'm Joe Hurlbert, your host, and alongside me is head coach Frye. And Coach took a tough one on the chin last week on the road at Wapak 10-7, but got a lot of things to work on, and hopefully this week we'll have better results.
Yeah, the goal is just to stay the course and be better.
Well, let's take a look at the Western Buckeye League standings. We're in week number 4. We're almost at the midway point of the 2021 season. So let's take a look at where we stand right now. You're starting to see some teams separate themselves from the rest of the Western Buckeye League. As far as Western Buckeye League records are concerned, there are 3 undefeated teams at 3-0. That's Van Wert, Shawnee, and Wapakoneta, followed by St. Mary's, Elida, Bath, and OG, all with 1-1 league marks. And Defiance, Kent, and Salina are 0-2 in the Western Buckeye League. When you look at overall records, there's only 2 undefeated teams, and that's Van Wert and Shawnee. Wapak, St. Mary's, Elida, Bath are all 2-1. OG and Defiance are 1-2, and Kenton and Salina are 0-3. And Coach, when you look at the 0-3 records of Salina and Kenton, does Kenton surprise you somewhat? I know we're out of the Mike Mock era. Mm-hmm. Things are probably changing somewhat over there, but does it surprise you that they're 0-3?
Well, they have a new coach, first off, and second off, they're playing a freshman quarterback. So usually whenever you're playing a freshman quarterback at Kenton, it's not always great.
Well, usually what has happened in the past, and we've seen them start freshman quarterbacks in the past, they take their licks for the first year, and as this kid matures, you still have 3 good years with him at quarterback, and hopefully he gets better.
That's kind of what you're seeing, I think. Yep.
As far as last week's score is concerned, if you haven't caught those, Bath defeated Kenton 43-13. Bath continues to play well. Shawnee shut out Salina 27-0. Van Wert defeated Defiance 55-18. OG defeated Elida 28-7. And of course, Wapak wins 10-7 over the Rough Riders. This week in the Western Buckeye League, you'll see Elida at Bath. Kenton is on the road at Salina, so somebody's going to get their first win of the season. Shawnee is at Defiance. Wapak is at OG. That's a pretty good matchup right there. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, St. Mary's is on the road at OG. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to bring you that game at OG because of limited space in the press box, so you're just going to have to tune in next week as we recap it. So, Coach, let's talk a little bit about your younger programs. Mm-hmm. Can you bring us up to speed of how your JVs and freshman and junior high programs are doing?
Yeah, we'll start at JV level. JV-wise, we're 2-1, all right, same as the varsity. We lost to Wapak last week JV-wise, but we split the JV and freshman up this week and played a JV freshman game. Our sophomore group's not very big, so our JV numbers are not huge. So we had brought the freshmen up with them because a lot of schools were not playing freshmen. But our freshmen went down and played a game this past week, and they won 13-0. So that's their first true freshman game they won. So they play again this week at Piqua because we picked up a freshman game for our freshmen, and our JVs will play at home against OG.
And how's the junior high program doing?
The junior high program, we are 1-1 at the 8th grade level, and our 7th grade's undefeated. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, there's plenty of good football players down there, plenty of numbers.
Absolutely.
Great coaches. Those guys do a great job
Absolutely.
down there. So.
Let's talk a little bit about football in general. You mentioned picking up Piqua. Mm-hmm. My question is how's that process go? Because we picked up London this year as our opening game.
Yeah.
How's that playing out?
Well, the freshman thing is a whole lot different than a varsity game. But a freshman game in general is whoever has freshman teams, you're basically Mr. Holman, our athletic directors, he's looking for freshman games all the time. So he's basically putting it out there, hey, if anybody has a freshman game this week, we'll play you. And that's just kind of, hey, you just agree, and that's how it happens. But with a league or with a varsity opponent like London, you post, hey, we need a week 1 in 2023. You post that on the OHSA website. People either contact you, you see their posting, you contact them, and getting people to agree is the big thing. Match home and away is tough, and then you sign a contract. We have a 2-year contract with London, and I don't know what will happen after that. So.
And how does that come about? I mean, we opened with Sydney for a long time, and I guess that's what you try to look for. You look for that opponent that's going to stay with you maybe 8, 9, 10 years down the road.
Well, Sydney, they went to a new league, the MVL, so they only needed one non-league opponent. So Bell Fountain was their second opponent, so they kept Bell Fountain instead of us as their first opponent. Bell Fountain dropped Wapak, Sydney dropped us, so that's how that worked out. But if you can get one for a long period of time, you're lucky.
Yeah.
Anymore, though, it doesn't seem like that's happening too often.
Does travel, is that being taken into consideration?
Everything's kind of taken in. London was the only opponent we could find, so
Really?
that's why we took London week 1. But if we're looking at, in general, at travel, yes, gate, fans. We were trying to go with Marion local, but that didn't work out. So that would have been a huge gate for us. So you're taking every little thing into account. Of course, you want to win.
Sure.
But with 16 teams making the playoffs now, you can kind of schedule anybody.
Really?
That's willing to play you.
I guess that was my next question. Scheduling a team in a lower division really doesn't have that much effect on you if you. It helps the lower teams if they were happen to knock off a ranked team in another division higher than them.
All Marion local, Wapak.
Right.
Most years you wouldn't schedule that because of Division 7 versus Division 3. It hurts you
Right.
if you were trying to get into the playoffs.
Right.
But anymore, though, it doesn't really matter.
And you mentioned about expanding to 16 teams. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it was 12, and you were going to have a bye week in the first round, and I said I didn't want anything to do with bye weeks. Like high school football bye weeks, keeping them engaged for a week, and at that time and that break between the seasons. So I said, no, let's go just do the 16-team thing if you're going to do 12, because let's play it instead of play a team like a Greenville or a lesser opponent if you're a higher opponent or if you're a higher seed, because, bye week in high school football is not good.
You know, I've always taken my opinion is this. These kids almost play a season as long as an NFL season.
Oh, if you win a state championship, it's 16 games, which is an NFL season. So it's a long season plus 2 scrimmages. So it's a long. It's not a battle. It's a war. I mean, it is. Each week's a new struggle. Too,
I bet. And so that's my thought. These kids they're just kids. You know, why put them in the same amount of games as a professional? That's just my personal opinion.
If they were going to expand it, I didn't want a bye week. That's the only thing. And it seemed like they were going to expand it. So I said, if you're going to expand it, we do not want a bye week.
Makes sense.
Yes.
It makes sense. Well, last week we were on the road. We were over at Harmon Field in Wapak. You come away with a 10-7 loss. We're going to take a look at the offensive clips here in just a moment. But your overall consensus of how your ball club played. To me, it seemed like we just couldn't get any sustained drives. You look good for a series, and you chewed up big chunks of yardage, then it's almost like the next series or two you kind of struggled a little bit moving the football.
Yeah, I think we're playing hard. We're playing together, which is still great. We're just not finishing anything. We're not finishing through those hard parts that you score a touchdown on. You finish a drive. You do those things that are hard and finish those things, and that's what offensively you're seeing especially. We're not finishing through the hard and getting to where we need to go.
Right. Well, your offense come away with 275 yards of total offense on 53 offensive plays, 252 yards on the ground. That still ranks the St. Mary's Rough Riders number 1 in the Western Buckeye League as the in rushing, so they still rank number 1 in that. But you still want to come away with a victory. Let's take a look at some of the clips that we got from last Friday's night. This first one is a nice run by Tanner Howe. This was late in the first quarter, or maybe it was early in the game.
Yeah, it was a full house sweep. We hit. Guards got out in front. You see that downfield blocking is what I'm talking about. We need to get guys downfield to finish those drives. We maybe cuts back, busts it for 80 instead of 30. So.
And this is the freshman, Colton Mabry, continues to play well. I think Colton on the night had 9 carries for 38 yards.
Colton's tough. He's learning on the run, and he's playing hard, which is all we can ask for. And he's going to continue to keep playing well for us, and he'll continue to improve as the year goes on.
Ross Henson had a good ball game. He rushed for 67 yards and 14 carries, but he had some big plays in here. And here's one from Ross.
Yeah, Ross continues to improve. it's just so many guys in the box and in between the tackles right now. It's hard to get our fullbacks consistently going, but we have to find ways to get people off us, and that's something we're going to do.
And this play here is just good offensive line engaging in the defensive line. Good job at the point of attack.
Yeah.
Here again, the long count. Offense stays disciplined, didn't move.
Yeah, we called a surge, and whenever you get that good surge, you'll get 5 yards. Putting a body on a body and running your feet, we have to have that for the rest of the way.
Gavin Reinecke attempted 4 passes. He completed 1 for 23 yards and an interception. Here's one now that he just overthrew Tanner Howell. Got plenty of time, good line blocking.
Yeah, he's got to connect on those. He's a senior. He's been playing for us for a long period of time. We talked to him about it. He knows what he needs to do. He was kind of a little nervous, and he needs to grow up and deliver. So.
Braden Hemmelgarn back in the offense, and I tell you what, even he just makes things happen. It seems like he's a good football player. He's a good athlete, and here's a nice run by Hemmelgarn.
Yeah, he's a step away right here from going the distance. He'd only been practicing for 3 days, so yeah. I think you're going to see a better Braden Hemmelgarn each week.
Yeah.
As long as he stays healthy and stays physical and stays committed to it, you're going to see a better Braden Hemmelgarn each week.
And I saw you have him in on special teams on the kickoff return?
Yeah, he's returning kicks for us, and he's going to return punts for us this week. He's going to be playing a lot of football now. So.
This is just another nice run by Ross Henshin.
It's the third. We call it a 38 pitch. Getting outside. Like I said, we got all these people on us. We got to go out there because it's what people are forcing us to do. So.
This is Aiden Hinkle. Saw some action on Friday night. This is Aiden picking up good yards.
Yeah, Aiden continues to progress. Obviously, coming off that knee injury, he's still trying to get his legs back underneath him. He actually is a pretty good D lineman who's gonna wind up playing on the D line for us here at some point.
Did you ever experience an injury such as a knee injury?
I never had a knee injury. I always had ankles, but never a knee. And a knee's a tough one to. He's fully healthy. He's just got to get the psyche back.
It's the mental thing.
It's the mental thing.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's just the mental aspect.
Yeah. And like I said, you're looking at Hemmelgarn and Hinkle, who missed all of two-a-days. You know, he missed all of the preseason, so it's hard to really evaluate them yet. They're still just now getting back to football mode.
Exactly.
So.
This is a nice sweep by Tanner Howell.
Yeah, Tanner continues to play great football for us. He plays so hard, and he's probably by far our toughest kid on the team. So he fights for yardage. Tanner
had 12 carries, 57 yards against Wapak. This next particular play, I think the offense is starting to put things together. This is a nice drive they're starting to put together.
Yeah, I think this is one we scored on. We're finally putting it all together. That's a trap right there. Whenever you're running the trap, that means everything else is working because the trap kind of has to be set up by everything else.
And this is a touchdown by Hemmelgarn. Same series. Might even be the next play.
Yeah, it was, I believe. And Braden, like I said, if you can get him in space, he's a great athlete. So we got to continue to create alleys for him to run through.
Love his shoes, though.
They are nice, aren't they? They are nice. I said something to him on practice the other day. Those are nice.
And this is the same play, but just from a different angle. You'll see some of the offensive line going out there and
whenever you get guards out in front, you continue to get bodies on bodies, great things happen. So we were doing that all night. We just weren't finishing.
Right.
So, yeah.
This next play is another run by Ross Henshin at fullback.
Yeah, it's a 17 there. It's a down kick. Ross hits it. Actually, that was Keegan Sharp that hit that one. Or Caden Sharp, sorry.
This is a pass play. This picked up a big first down, I believe. This is, I think, is that Wildcat screen late in the ball game.
This is a middle screen we run to Tanner, and we can run it to other guys too, but it's something we need to do more of. We're able to do it. We got to get out of our own way and start doing it.
Yeah, and then unfortunately what happened on the very next play, we line up in the polecat offense, and unfortunately a bad snap.
Yeah,
we almost set you back to the original line of scrimmage.
Yeah, we got a bit of ahead of ourselves, and we're growing as a staff as well. So it was a mistake made by us. I don't blame the kids by any means. That was on us. So.
And then this last play, as far as offense is concerned, this is just a pass that was just late in the ball game. I think we're trying to make some things happen. It was just underthrown and it was picked off.
Yeah, we thought we had him. We thought we had Bowers deep, and kind of got a little protection, break down a bit, and that's just plays Gavin's got to make, and he knows that, and he'll be better.
You know, one thing offensively, again, you get the ball down in the red zone one time and you scored. When you get it inside the 20, you put points on the board.
Yeah, it was a field position game, and we dropped a couple turnovers. We went for it on fourth down, where when you get into those Wapak field position games, every yard matters, and every possession matters.
And we'll talk about that when we get to special teams, because it seemed like early in the ball game, the punts kind of kept moving Wapak back, and so Brandon.
It's tough for both offenses to drive a field.
Exactly,
that's what we do, and we like to run the football.
Defensively, the Rough Riders gave up 305 yards of total offense on 50 offensive plays. This first play we're going to see here, this is just an awesome read and an awesome play by Ty Keel.
I credit that all to Coach Yale and to our guys watching film, because he saw this on film and he took a shot.
Wow, that was good.
And if it bounced a little bit the other way, we're probably taking that for 6. You know, so it's just one of those things in the game of football that it humbles you and it shows you that every little thing matters. So.
And Braxton King, we don't say enough about him, but he continues to play well, and he puts good pressure here.
Yeah, Braxton King plays extremely hard. He's actually going to play a little O-line for us this week at guard, but he's playing extremely hard, and he's a great kid.
This next play, again, is you talked about it when we talked about the offense. We just have to finish. This is good pursuit by the defense, but just have to finish.
Finish, yeah, that's the number one thing that comes to mind. You can watch this film you can watch the whole game over and over again. It's just things that we didn't finish, drives, tackles, blocks. You know, and it's one of those things that we gotta continue to work on, and we gotta be better at.
This next play is a pass play. Goulet goes back for the pass. This is almost picked off. I think in the course of the ball game, early in the contest, you had opportunities at almost 4 interceptions.
Yeah, 4 or 5. There was a fumble or four dropped interceptions and 1 fumble early on.
Yeah.
But we got to be better.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is a good pressure here by Dylan Giesecke. This is also almost another pick.
Dylan continues to play well and continues to play hard. He's got a great frame and a great motor, so he can be a Saturday guy if he continues to play hard. And another one where it's in our hands and out. It's just how it's bouncing. You know,
it is.
Sometimes it's on your side, sometimes it's not. So yeah.
This is good play, linebacker play by Jace Schaefer. Brings some pressure to the quarterback.
Jace is another one of those guys that continues to play extremely hard. He plays a little tight end for us too. I mean, he can do a lot of things. He plays hard and continues to come. And Coach Nouse coaches the linebackers and has them playing extremely hard.
This next play is just good coverage by Brandon Bowers in the secondary.
Yeah, Brandon's got that long body back there, and he can run. He's a state track runner, so he can fly. It's just continues to cover and continues to do his job. So that's the big thing there.
Yeah, he was step for step with the receiver. This is a big offensive play by Wapak. Probably set up one of their scores.
Yeah, it's just cut back. Guy's not finishing. That's just we're pursuing, making sure it doesn't go all the way, but we got to make sure we got to take care of that. And sometimes that happens.
Yep.
So.
And this is Wapak's only score of the night. Now, keep in mind, I think the defense. This is only the second score allowed this year. But here again, you look at the entire scenario. It's a big touchdown.
It is a big touchdown. Yeah, and obviously, anytime they score, and and we're not exactly lighting it up on the scoreboard right now. So every little thing matters. So
and this is one of those things in football that's going to happen. This is an outstanding catch by the Wapak receiver. I mean, I think the defensive back was right there, but he just laid out on a pass that was, clearly overthrown and just was able to haul this one in.
I think some of those plays they made at times and we didn't. So sometimes that's how it works. And like I said, we're not going to bask in it. It's
right, exactly.
People were in the right spot. They just got to go make the play and be better. It's kind of what I said. Yeah. So they're not out of position.
No,
they just got to make the play. The kid made the catch, and sometimes that happens.
And he throws it two more feet ahead. It's incomplete pass.
Yeah. By the way, that ball hit the ground. I was standing out there on the field. It hit the ground.
Did it really?
It was a perfect. The officials couldn't see that, but it's like, you got to be kidding.
Well, that'll be the next thing that you'll see high school implement is the instant replay.
Yeah, if there's replay on that play, it hit the ground. I watched it hit the ground. But, hey, like I said, that's how it was bouncing for us all night. So
this here is just good interior line play by your defense. We come up with a big play here.
Yeah, we're just playing hard in there. People have trouble running inside on us because we're physical. That's really the
And this field goal is the only other score of the game. And
yeah, hey, kid made it, and coming hard, trying to block it, but kid put it through. So such is life, right?
It is. And this is your defense. They do a good job again on a good stop here.
Yeah, it's getting later in the game now, right?
They played to the end.
They did. They played hard, and they continue to play hard. That's never a question. They fly to the ball and they play hard. Like I said, we just in all three phases of the game, we got to be better. That's just what it is.
And here's one of those this is almost another interception here, just kind of in and out, and
that's how it was bouncing. Sometimes it bounces that way, and sometimes you just got to be better to make it.
Yep. Not
bounce the other way, bounce our way, So.
And then this is an offsides penalty right here that moved the ball and gave the Wapak Redskins a first down, and then this was pretty much basically the last play of the ball game.
It happens, you're taught and you're disciplined, but sometimes that stuff happens, and you can't blame the kids. He's out there trying to get a stop so we can get the ball back. So
special teams, I thought they did a good job. We talked about it a moment ago. Brandon Bowers, his foot kept pushing in the first half, kept pushing Wapak back and back, and I thought he did a good job this first one here. This is just this is the opening kickoff of the ball game. Your special teams hustling down on coverage.
Yeah, it's our kickoff return team. We're trying to get some walls set. Like I said, Braden Hemmelgarn was just like I said, about 3 days of practice is all we had before this one. So I think he'll continuously get better at this. He's dynamic back then. Him and Tanner are both very dynamic. So hopefully they keep kicking it to us.
This is a nice punt by Brandon Bowers. I think his long of the game was 57 yards.
Yeah, he had a nice one that rolled real far. But, he continues to punt well, and we have to protect him well, and he's a heck of a punter. It's crazy. Usually with the kickers, you get either a kicker or a punter, and you got both.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, right now he's averaging about 38.8 yards per punt, ranks him second in the Western Buckeye League, but he's not too far behind the kid that's leading the Western Buckeye League.
It's like 0.1 or something like that.
It's real close. Mm-hmm. This is another good punt from Brandon. He gets this one down inside the red zone.
It was a field position game, so every time he did this, it was to our favor. So, like I said, you get in these games with Wapak and those type of teams, it's field position. So every time he puts it down there, it's good.
And this one here is not the result you particularly want from a punt return. This is a fumble.
Yeah, we came after it, tried to block it. It's got to be better. That's the truth of the whole story, is that Tanner's got to put the ball away, and he understands that. And first off, when we call a block, we need to go get it.
Right.
So
now we'll watch this next punt, and then I'm going to ask you this question.
Mm-hmm. Getting away from it here, rolls down in, yeah.
What is your thoughts on this? This is my question. Do you want your punt returner to catch it, or do you want him to let it go?
He's in a predicament there because the 10-yard line rule. you never catch it inside the 10 because you fumble it or something like that.
Sure.
You're definitely in up the creek without a paddle there.
But any
that
other
was
place
kind
on-
of any other place on the field, you want him to try to go get it.
Go get
He's
it.
basically an outfielder out there.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's tough when part of the problem there was the guy blocking the gunner was letting his guy go free, so it was hard for him to come up and
Right.
so we got to block better.
Right,
and then
right.
it's easier for them to field the ball, So
Right.
it's kind of you can blame one guy, but there's 11 guys responsible for
sure.
it. Yes.
Yeah, because I know that on an artificial surface, when we've seen it in a Wapak game, you can get a 20, 25-yard roll.
Yeah, you
on it.
can. And the thing about it, we use the 10-yard line rule. If it's inside the 10, you don't field it.
Yeah.
But if it's out, that was a bit of a tweener because I think it hit about the 10, 11-yard line. So he was probably
Yeah.
in a bit of a predicament there.
I
so.
guess. We get that.
Yeah.
This is a big punt by Brandon Bowers.
Yeah, this one rolled forever, right?
It did. It did.
So that's, like I said, their kids were having the same issues. You field
Right.
it, do you don't? And he just out kind of punted to the
Right.
kid there. So
Right. And then you get another 15 yards
yeah,
on the roll,
so-
which is another good. And I think that's his longest punt of the night, the 57 yards.
But anytime you can field a ball, the better. I mean, because it fixes field position for you.
And this is just good kickoff coverage by your special teams. They're playing hard.
There's a lot
no
of
doubt.
kids on there that are varsity level kids that are behind a guy at a certain position that's been playing for a while. So they're getting their reps on kickoff. The Caden Sharps, the Jamal Kesslers, the Tristan Gardners. So they're getting a lot of quality reps on the kickoff, and they come down hard and they continue pursuit of the ball, and they're a good unit.
Do you have a goal for your special teams on kickoff? Is your goal like we don't want anybody to go outside the 20? Is
The
that
30-yard line
that
is
it
what
is?
we do. Yeah,
Is it?
30. Anytime you can pin them within the 30, I think you're doing a good job.
This is a field goal by Brandon Bowers. This is a 46-yard attempt, and you know what? It had the distance.
Yeah.
He just pulled it a little bit to the left and not far.
Kind of like the rest of the night. You
It
know what
was.
I mean? You're an inch away, you're a
Exactly.
play away, you're a block away. Sometimes things bounce your way, and sometimes they don't. And we get that, and we're not changing anything. That's why we're staying the course.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And that's a weapon too.
Oh,
when
yeah.
you know you can throw your kicker out there from 46 yards away and have a possibility of putting 3 on the board, that's definitely a plus.
I was yelling at the end of the game at the defense, stop them, because we got the best kicker in the league. We'll get it. We'll get it down there inside the 40, and we'll
Exactly.
kick it from the 40 if we have to. So, but sometimes it doesn't happen.
Right.
Sometimes it goes our way. Sometimes it doesn't.
Sure.
So.
And this last play on special teams, this is just another good punt inside the red zone by Brandon.
Yeah, he's punting well. He's like I said, he's by far. I don't want to claim anything, but he's by far the best kicker and punter in the league. I believe.
I think so,
yes,
too.
So
Well, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to take a look at this week's opponent, the Ottawa Glandorf Titans, and see what it takes to get a win on our side of the ledger. We'll do that and more when the Bo Frye Show continues right after this.
You're watching the Bo Frye Show on Rider Nation Station, brought to you by Minster Bank, Plus One Professionals, Albert Sporting Goods, American Legion Post 323, Fowler's TV, Eagles Lodge 767, Speckman Automotive, Auglaze Audiology, Rabel's Auto Service, American Manufacturing Solutions, VFW 9289, Auglaze Equipment Rental, Guarneri's Pizzeria, Vogel's Bake Shop, Schaff Auto Sales, Miller Funeral Homes, and Spees Chiropractic and Wellness Center.
Welcome back once again to the Bo Frye Show. I'm Joe Hurlbert, your host, along with head coach Bo Frye. And again, we want to thank our sponsors for bringing all Rough Rider football to you, including the Bo Frye Show, the rules of the game, and of course our coverage on Friday nights on Rider Nation Station. So if you get an opportunity, stop in, thank these folks that sponsor us, because without them, we wouldn't be here. So, Coach, we're on the road again, second week in a row. Of course, I know you take it one game at a time, and this is a big test for you. You know, it's a big test. It's always a big test. I think it's a character builder to find out exactly what your team has inside after they come off a loss. The Ottawa Glandorf Titans come away with a 28-7 win over Elida. Not really sure what type of program the Elida Bulldogs have at this point in time, although they find themselves 2-1 on the season. But on the road to OG, what's your assessment of the OG Titans offensively and defensively?
first off, they're very good. I think that you could look at their record and look at all this stuff, and it's kind of deceiving. because the first team they played was Eastwood, who is probably a state caliber Division V school. And they got beat by Wapak on a very hot night when they're playing a lot of guys both ways. So they're a very, very good football team. Coach Schreiner's been there, seems like forever. He's the longest tenured guy in the league now. And he's got them playing hard again. He's got them, they're your normal, big, athletic OG football team. They're huge in the trenches. One of their offensive linemen signed with Akron, so he's a heck of a football player. A lot of their O-linemen play both ways, but they're gigantic. They're huge, and then they use that basketball talent in the spread on offense and in their secondary. Their defensive coordinator, very good defensive coordinator, and he's given us troubles for years. So they come at you, they attack you, and they come at you 20 different ways.
Right.
You always have to be a step ahead and ready.
I think that's one thing that Ottawa Glandorf has been noted for, is they always seem to put big kids on the field. And not only big kids, but they're very athletic.
Oh, well, you look at their basketball programs, they're very, very good at basketball, and they have those basketball-type talent kids. And they have MAC-type, I would say MAC, like the Marion Local and the Coldwater-type kids. That's that type of community. So they have very big, thick farm kids that they put in the trenches.
Absolutely. So what is it going to take for us to go up to OG and put a win on our side of the ledger?
Number one, just stay the course. We're doing what we're doing, but finish. You saw it on film. We're not that bad. It's just we got to finish. We got to go through those hard things to get to what we want.
Right.
And you got to take what you want. Just got to be better in some areas. And we said things didn't bounce our way in that. We got to make them bounce our way. So, but our kids are great. They're resilient. They've practiced extremely hard this week. They want to win. And I know what we have, and they know what we have. And I'm very confident if our kids keep coming, we're going to be all right.
And when you look at the league, I think all around from at least the top 5 or 6 teams, any team can beat any team on any given night. So there's a possibility you could get some help down the road, but you got to take care of your own business first.
Yeah, it's always about us, number one. I think Coach Yale and we all talked about it. Coach Yale talked to the team about it yesterday, is that we haven't really lost a game that's been because of an opponent. It's really because, other than a couple years ago against Shelby, they were really, really good, or Bellbrook last year when we were beat up.
Right.
It's really been us from day one, from step one. We got to be better at what we do.
Right. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this edition of the Bo Frye Show. We want to thank Bo Frye joining us this week on the Bo Frye Show. I want to remind you that we will not be airing the Rough Rider OG game this Friday due to limited facilities, and we're not able to get in there. But we wish you the best of luck, Coach, and hopefully we'll bring a win back to St. Mary's. So until next week, I'm Joe Hurlbert for head coach Bo Frye. See you next time.
You're watching the Bo Frye Show on Rider Nation Station, brought to you by Minster Bank, Plus One Professionals, Albert Sporting Goods, American Legion Post 323, Fowler's TV, Eagles Lodge 767, Speckman Automotive, Auglaze Audiology, Rabel's Auto Service, American Manufacturing Solutions, VFW 9289, Auglaze Equipment Rental, Guarneri's Pizzeria, Vogel's Bake Shop, Schaff Auto Sales, Miller Funeral Homes, and Speed's Chiropractic and Wellness Center. Thanks for watching another episode of Rider Nation Station. Help us help you by subscribing on YouTube or following us on Facebook.